Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Siska, and in today's video I'm doing something a little bit different today. Since it is an off week for me, I don't actually have any income coming in since I am paid bi-weekly, but I still wanted to throw out a video. I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys a little bit of a look into how I how I track my expenses throughout the pay period. So things that I buy that fall within the spending allowance categories that I have, coffee, food, general spending, and gas. And then also how I do track my credit card charges if I buy something off of like Amazon. I do have an Amazon credit card that it goes towards, and how I keep track of what I spend where. I do have a virtual wallet kind of thing on my phone. It's an app so that like whenever I do swipe my debit card, I can just kind of go in there. I have a whole bunch of categories set up and listed that I just put that information in, and then about every week, I try to do it every week, I go through and I look to see how much money I've spent in one category and then how much I have left over for the second week. So this is the first week of the paycheck that I got for paycheck one that I did a video on last week. So I want to see how much I have left to spend, basically, and then kind of planning for, like, if I've spent some money on my credit card, that money will be coming out of my sinking funds to pay back the credit card at the end of this pay period. I was also thinking about just doing and giving you guys like an idea of how I deal with my bills, since I do have my bills folder here, and how when I pay a bill, how I'm dealing with this prop money and how I'm kind of keeping track of where that money is and when it's coming out and all of that. So we're just gonna do both of those little things, and then hopefully in a not too long of a video, okay? So this will be nice, short and sweet. So here I have my expense tracker here, where I just kind of copy over from my phone what money went out and what I spent. So you can see here I have not that many. I do spend a lot more in food. Well, obviously it's a bigger allowance. I do put like $120 set aside for food. So if I'm buying it at work, or if I happen to like get Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that, or if I go grocery shopping, I'll track it here. And then for general spending, coffee, I don't think I spent anything in gas. I didn't fill my tank yet. I still have like a half a tank left. So that's not going to be there. We're going to go through this and we're going to total it all up. But down in the bottom here, I have, like, for food and groceries, I had $120 to spend. In gas, I had $50 to spend. Coffee, whatever that falls into, is another $50. And then for general spending, I have $75 to spend. So what I generally do is I have, this very basic kind of like spreadsheet, I guess, where I just copy over everything that I have, and then I get myself a calculator, or I do it on my phone or whatever, and then I just kind of go through and I total up the various totals within each category. So like for coffee, I only had just this top one here, which was just $15, so I don't need to do the math there. So I'm just going to go down here, and I spent, let's see, 15. So I don't want to do the math, it's really early. I just got up. So I have 35 left to spend in that category. I hope that's not too hard to see. Okay. So then gas, I know I didn't spend anything. I haven't spent anything yet. So I still have 50 to spend here. Let's go for general spending because it's a little bit cheaper. 19, 25 here, and 19.98. So I spent 39.23. And I started out with $75. So we're going to subtract the 39.23 from the 75, which leaves me with 35.77 to spend. And then for food, which is always the bigger category, gonna go down the list and get all of them. So 476 plus 19 plus 423. Oops. Alright, so I have spent $100. I did go to the grocery store, and that took a pretty nice chunk out of what my allowance was for the $120 that I had towards groceries. But that's okay, because I can easily make $20 last another week, because I'll be working over the weekend. And then since I bought groceries, I actually have food in the house, and I don't need to be getting Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything like that. So I have the money. That's fine. And then right over here, you can see that, like, I bought a couple of things from Amazon. I did buy myself a movie on Vudu. It's on a separate card. So I keep track of them there, so that when the end of the pay period comes through, I can just go through and know that I'm pulling, like, these 2 Amazon expenses from random, and then I am going to pull this expense from me and mine. I just shorten it to M&M because it's easier that way. I don't want to write all that out. So at the end of the pay period, I will just go through and pull those funds from my sinking funds, and because it's digital, I will also pull them from my savings account that I use for my sinking funds, and then just go ahead and pay that off on the credit card. Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy. There's a little bit of extra steps kind of situation here, but it helps me keep track of where my money is going and how much I have. And then, you know, because I am digitally tracking all of this and I don't actually have cash in my wallet to spend, it's easier to keep track of what I have. So I do this weekly. So I do it the off week from the paycheck, and then at the end of the pay period, before I get paid the next time and I budget for my next week, you know, I total it all up, and that's how I get, like, the allowance spending money left over that goes on to my next paycheck budgeting sheet that you guys see in the videos. So if I have $50 left over, it's a total of whatever is left over from all these 4 categories, or if it's a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever. So that is that, basically. It's pretty simple. It's, you know, some might think it's a little extra, but this is what keeps me on track and what keeps me, you know, accountable, basically. So I'm not overspending in one category and whatnot. And, you know, I generally try not to I don't spend that much money in coffee, because I do brew coffee at home. So, like, the coffee is just kind of like if I'm throwing it on a gift card that I use at, like, if I buy coffee at Starbucks, I have a Starbucks gift card. So this is me throwing money on that gift card. You know, I'm not pulling that extra money off of coffee and saying that, oh, well, I can use it towards, you know, X, towards, like, if I go over on food or general spending or something like that. So it just kind of keeps me accountable and keeps me on track. So I hope that made sense to you. You know, just keep it simple, keep what works for you, and, you know, figure out your system and what makes sense for you in your head and all of that. So now that we've kind of briefly gone over that, we're going to go over and I'm going to run through how I keep track of my bills and how that money comes out, and, you know, all that fun stuff, and how I keep track of that. So we'll get right over into that. I gotta get a couple of things. Be right back. Alright, for this bit with my bills folder, if you've seen any of my paycheck stuffing videos, then you will know, or at least my recent ones, that I have been pulling out 50% of roughly what the bill is and stuffing it into my bills folder here. And I do that twice because I get paid bi-weekly, so 50, and then 50 is, you know, generally 100%. It's generally a little bit more than 100% of whatever that bill is for that month. And I just wanted to also, while I was here kind of doing a random-ish video, kind of show you the back end of that and how I manage like the money that is in my bill account and how I deal with the prop money here. Since the money is debited from that account, I need to be pulling out that amount, or a dollar up or a dollar down from that amount, to coincide with what is actually in my account, so that what is in my account is reflected in this binder. So I have 3 bills that came out within the past week. Power, cat stuff, which is like food and litter for the cats, and then my phone bill. Power and cats are split with me and my roommate right now, so he pays 50%, so those two are really 50% of what it actually, the actual total bill was. So we are just gonna go on and find the first one. I think it's the first one at the top. Bill for power. So in power, I need to pull out 2228. I started to edit these sheets and already put in what I was pulling out, but then I was just like, well, I'll just show you. And then I made a math error and yeah, a whole thing. So in this one, we are going to be pulling out, I'm rounding the 22.28 up to 23, so I'm just going to pull out $23. So 20, 21, 22, 23, which should leave me with 57. So 20, 40, 50, 55, 56, 57. That's going back in. This has a lot of extra money in it because, like, obviously during the summer my power bill is going to be higher with my AC bill because I do live in the south, so it's going to get a lot harder. So I'm just trying to beef this up beforehand so that I'm not like trying to take out a lot more per paycheck during that time of the year. If I can just kind of get it a little bit started before now while it's a little bit cooler, I can afford to do that. So that's how we're doing that. Help if I actually put the card back in. So 23 came out in that one. For cat stuff was $39.14. And I have $66 in there. I'm going to be editing how much I put in there. I think I'm going to be dropping this down to $20, give or take, here in the next paycheck stuffing. So for cat stuff, I need to break one of these 10s. So I'm going to break the 10. Give me 2 seconds. But it's the handy dandy portion of having prop money so that if I needed change, I can just easily make change. So I pulled that 10 already. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to be pulling, I'm just going to round that down to 39 since I did round up on that one. So 20, 30, oops, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, which should leave us with 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So I'm going to have 27 in here. So minus 39 bill. We're calling this the 16th. So that is going there. And then for the last one coming out is going to be phone. Here, I did that at 39. So phone. I think I'm going to have to break the phone one, a 20 in the phone as well. So I am going to break one of the 20s. I'm going to bring that so that I can actually not be pulling out a full 40 when I can just bring it to 38 and it works much better. So, alright, so one of the 20s is going over here, and then we'll have 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so that's going to be that. And we're going to pull out $38 here. So 20, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Alright, which leaves me with $2 in my phone folder. Minus 38. Alrighty. And then basically, since this is prop money, it's just going to go back into my extra folder of prop money. And that stuff will have already come out of my account. So that's just basically how I do it. It's a little monotonous maybe, but I'd rather be able to easily keep track of my money, even if it takes an extra step or so to do it, and not have to try and figure out what money I have allotted for what bill. This makes it easier to keep track of the money coming out, the money going in, and what bill it is specifically earmarked for. So that is the bills thing. I don't know if I'll do another video like this. Again, if somebody asks in the future, then I'll probably do it. But for now, that is just kind of a little glimpse into the back half of my bill folder and how I manage that money. All right, so we're gonna go on back to the other portion of the video. All right, so we're back. So we just went over how I deal with my bills folder using prop money and taking that money out and how I keep track of it all. And then before we had gone over my expense tracker. So hopefully you got a little something from it. Because I am new to doing well, I'm just new to budgeting, period, but new to adding the bills folder, I felt like just kind of sharing with y'all how I figured out would work for me for tracking my bills. And since I do have bills that come out at various points throughout the month, you know, showing you guys how I manage that and track that using prop money. But then also, because I do not carry cash, I only do credit cards and debit cards, how I track my expenses and how I keep track of it and make sure I'm still on point with not overspending and knowing where my money is going. So I have my expense tracker, so hopefully you guys got something out of it. You know, if this makes sense to you, go ahead and feel free to use whatever method I'm using that makes sense for you. I know before I even started, I had been watching a whole bunch of different channels, and I had just kind of like started nitpicking, or not nitpicking, but picking out things that like I liked what this person did for one thing, and then I would go, I like how they did something, or somebody else did something, and just kind of pulled from a whole bunch of different ideas and channels and people, and kind of mashed them all together to figure out what would work for me. And this is what works for me. I might change it in the future, I might not, who knows. So hopefully you got a little something out of this. Hopefully this kind of maybe got some wheels turning if you're kind of hesitant on starting the digital budgeting journey, or just budgeting in general, whether that's cash or digital. This is very similar to how a lot of people track their credit card expenses if they're a cash stuffer, as far as like the credit cards and stuff like that go. And you know, but that also works for my cash tracking for my weekly allowances. So, you know, that's what works for me. So hopefully this all made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I love to hear from y'all. I love answering all of your questions. And I guess I'm going to wrap this video up right here. So y'all have a fantastic weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day for any of those that celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And I guess I'll see you next week for my paycheck number 2 of March. And we'll get right back into the stuffing. I might actually just do a full paycheck period expense tracker update the day before I do my paycheck stuffing. We'll see. But if that's something you would like me to do, go ahead and let me know down below, and you know, I'll make it happen for you guys. All right? So y'all have a marvelous day and a wonderful weekend, okay? Bye.